Welcome back. You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria. Now, on Wednesdays, we make sure that we take it upon ourselves to give you a little relationship tip here and there. And, of course, flowing from last week, we had Olabisi Folarin, definitely, and she's here again to continue her discussion on domestic violence, right? Last week, we were talking about the same domestic violence, but from a different angle. But for today, we're talking intervention. Welcome again to Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
I like your getup. Very nice. Put together. Okay, so now domestic violence is something that is a topic that is very, very sensitive. And of course, in this part of the world, is very, very rampant. Right now, when we talk about intervention, so what exactly do we mean?
Intervention is beyond the noise, the outrage, and the outage that goes on each time. I personally believe in intervention so that we have a reduced statistics of this happening over and over again. We all shout and then 1 week marks, everybody's back to their normal lifestyle. So I think we should talk more on intervention, how people can actually prevent it from getting to the stage of death, especially. Okay. I think one of the first things we can do is to encourage people who have shelters. There are shelters where women can run to. One of the things I said last week is that some women are not financially empowered enough. So there's nowhere to run to. But when they know that there is a free shelter where they can stay for up to 6 months, like I know there's Bimbo Dukoya Foundation here in Lagos. I know there is Funke Felix Adejumo Foundation, shelter. She has one in Akure. And there are quite a pocket of them all over Lagos State by private individuals. So people need to be aware. Victims need to be aware that places they can run to temporarily. Some of those places give it up for free. Food, shelter for at least 6 months for them to get maybe therapists or counselors to walk them through that journey of either going back or moving forward. Or
moving forward. Now, talking about going back or moving forward, but before then, let's talk about people even coming to the acceptance that, okay, you know what, this is happening, and wanting to actually take that step of leaving their family they know. As you said, there are different things that have limited us over time, right? Different things have limited people over time from, financially, as you've rightly said, that, okay, like they literally don't want to even leave their homes in the first place to know, like, exactly what's happening, right? So how can we get these ladies to say, okay, you know what, this man has been doing this to me, right? And I want to now leave my house and then go outside. Some women, it's not just about the finances. Some women don't want to face the stigma. So how can we get to that point? First of all, how can we even know what is happening? Do you understand? Because sometimes when people report these situations, they actually fear that they will be threatened, right? Their lives will actually be under threat. So how can we get to that point, first of all?
Okay, so you've touched on a myriad of things.
Yes.
One question, hopefully I'll remember. If you're being abused, well, different women are at different levels of awareness. There's the aware woman that she wouldn't even take being hit twice. She wants to escalate.
Very true.
And there are those that are not even aware. You know, they are scared and coward. So for those that are aware, involve those that's the leaders over you. People have a kind of oversight. Maybe your spiritual leaders, pastors, and then your family. If a man is hitting you, his family should know this is happening.
A lot of families, people know that that's happening, but a lot of families will tell you that, yes, our mothers will say, okay, you know what do you think it takes to be, for instance, the movie that literally, got a lot of clouds recently, Blood Sisters, right? Okay. Where her mom literally was telling her, yes, it's one slap, so you want to call off a wedding because of one slap. You understand?
We addressed that last week. The parents especially need to go past that stage of, there should be nothing like that. You don't have a place in my house after you get married. And I was saying, would you rather your daughter is being brought home to you in a body bag, or she stays with you for just a period of time so that she can get help that she needs? Yes.
So now in situations where, okay, fine, family is not so supportive of you leaving your husband's house, now what would you advise?
You go to, there are levels to these things. If the other party is not willing to go for counseling and therapy, and you're getting to the stage of body harm, then you can bring in the authorities. Like you can go to you can get to the police stations. A lot of police stations do have that unit right now. Lagos State is doing a whole lot. And what I find out is that a lot of people are also not aware of Lagos State is doing.
Okay.
Like recently, I had a couple, and we've been trying to resolve the issue. The man just wasn't budging. Then families actually went to report to mediation. I don't know how many people know that Lagos State has a arm of judiciary is called mediation, and took it up. So both of them didn't know who reported, but I strongly believe, because I was involved in the case, that it's a family member who got fed up because the man wasn't budging. They got there. The man was still thinking it's business as usual. And he walked out on the officials. Oh, wow. And the woman was crying and said, like, don't bother. If he doesn't come back here in 24 hours, we are going to pick him up.
Okay.
And so I guess he sounded it out with his mates or people, and they said, you better go back there. And so he was back in 24 hours without them intervening and without the wife intervening. And, got round to pleading. What this kind of things does is that a man knows, look, the government protects its citizenry too. And as far as this is concerned, if you cross the line, we're going to pick you up and we'll deal with it. That was outside both of them. So, and I hear people say there's nothing we can do. People say when couples are having an issue, neighbors can get involved. Go report anonymously, and the mediation will pick it up and invite them over for a talk to see how it can be sorted out. So that's another form of intervention that a lot of people don't know. Even I wasn't aware of that. I found it strange. You mean what we've been trying to pull in 48 hours, the government stepped in, and he had to sit up. What that does is to instill a bit of fear in men that have those kind of issues that, look, you can't just beat a woman and get away with it in Lagos State. They will come for you if it gets to the right authorities. There's also domestic and sexual violence response team in Lagos. Ordinarily, most of us have lost faith in government agencies, but on this, for Lagos State, they are working. You take it up to the right quarters, they will get involved.
Now there are two classes, I would like to say classes of people, right? People that actually have access to these things and know this. First of all, yes, as you likely said, we need more sensitization about this because people need to know that this actually exists. Absolutely. Now, we're talking about a situation where this man is actually high up there. He knows the plugs, he knows people. So even in a situation where, and we know the kind of country we live in, right? Okay, fine, you report and everything, he has friends, he calls one or two people, and then it's back to square one. So in that situation now, if the woman goes back, she's probably even in more danger. So now what would you advise?
That's where awareness comes in. That's what one want to ask yourself. Do I want to remain married, or I want to be alive first before we can think of marriage? Okay, so people have to make choices. If he's so high up there and he's not willing to go for help, as in form of counseling, therapy, then it's time for your brain to speak to your legs. Honestly, because if you're being hit, and there are levels to this hitting thing, though. If it's still slapping, is okay. But when somebody begins to threaten your life with knife, and then I think it was the case of the lady in Lebeda, the banker that was killed by her husband, that got Lagos State to really sit up, and from then on, they've been really serious about it. Why die? Why die in a marriage? We need to be alive first before we can talk about, living with somebody else and being married. So I advise any woman in that situation, especially if it has gone to that state where you're always having bodily harm. Please, the first thing to do is to separate yourself from that environment of harm. If your family or friends are not willing to take you in, you can go to those shelters. And then there are NGOs too, like there is what's this, Project Alert. They've been doing a lot on all of that. Some of those NGOs can really help you with the first few months to see how they can sort you out and hand you over to, para agencies that they work hand in hand with. So all of that is there. I don't see any reason why you should remain in marriage and die. There's always help one way or the other if you escalate and have the right information at your fingertips. And that's why things like this are okay, because you might not know, but your friends, family can know about it, and they can tell you about it as well.
Yes. Okay, I mean, now we're talking about Lagos State. You spoke about the Felix Adedjumo shelter as well as others. Are there any others we have nationwide? I
believe there are pockets in some states, maybe not all, but a lot of states are really getting up to it. If you go to the, how do I say it, the local government area, they can give you information on all of that. And if you get online as well, type these things, your state, a lot of info will pop up, yes.
Right, I mean, yeah, talking about typing these things, even a lot of women in the rural environments that don't even have access to internet and all of that. But then again, as you said, I'm sure if you try hard enough, there'll definitely be...
If you can't get to the government, you can get to the shelters. There's always a way. A friend, a family, because, I mean, I've had cases of, people actually dying there, or people getting, like a client who got home, was hit by the husband, left for dead, managed to grab her two sons, and then took a cab to the, how do you call it, the bus station, all the way to Ibadan. She got to Ibadan with a broken clavicle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And her two sons. It was strangers that didn't know her, women that, let's just hold the bus, because she could barely lift her hand. And you got there, and the parents, these parents begged her when she ran away the first time. The father of like 70 plus prostrated.
This always happens. Wow.
You understand? So don't let those things, because you will bear the consequences first of all, and hopefully it's not death this time around.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very insightful.